Well, you can see the number of people in the box.
They try to swing it to the outside, Beacham. Oh, and he made the cut, and he still got brought down right across the 20-yard line. How about that Kentrell drag, living up to his name as he dragged him down by the ankles there.
Nice play from the secondary. You mentioned some of the problems, but take a look here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys all right here. That is not easy to run against. And then you have the flow. Look, there's Trainum, who gets initial pressure. Running back has to bounce, and then your defensive backs come up. Hoban's just, their aggressiveness is taking Winton Woods' running attack out of the game. There's
swing it out to Beacham, and he is tackled almost immediately by Matt Salopek.
Tackled by Matt Salopek.
Salopek playing a free safety. You know, due to some injuries earlier in the year, they moved him up to linebacker. I think Winton Woods defensively, over the past few years, Coach Parker talked about how they've had a lot of injuries and they've had to, basically just eliminate positions. Everybody plays everywhere. Well, Hoban had some of that also, and Salopek, playing linebacker, got used to coming up and really playing the run, and I think that's helped him from his free safety position as a run support guy.
Again, a very short drop here on the punt, end over end, and that one almost got away. That's a smart move just to dive on that ball, and that right there is a senior making the good decision in Nate Bauer just to dive on the football, take it where you get it.
Well, I think Bauer was excited about the potential return because there was virtually zero hang time on that kick. It was a line drive, and as a return guy, you start licking your lips, your eyes get big, and because you know you're going to get it, the football, before the kick coverage team has an opportunity to get around you.
2:49 remaining in the first half. Ryan, we talked about that defense. Here they are right back out there again after a 3 and out by the offense. That is not what the plan was.
I wouldn't be surprised if Hoban takes a shot here.
Shane Ham hands it off. A little bit of room on the left side that time for a few yards.
Trainum is this explosive type runner where if he gets past that first level, they're celebrating another touchdown. He's got the speed, he's got the burst. Thus far, he hasn't been able to break that first level, but if he does, watch out Winton Woods. Cornell Beacham from the Warriors, he's the same way. Saw that earlier on the touchdown.
Here's a handoff, and again, just a couple of yards over the left side.
Trainum cuts that ball up the middle, and it looked like he had a lane. He had 2 blockers out in front of him. If he would have fouled him and headed towards the sidelines, he had real opportunity there. And this is what Winton Woods wants. They want to put Hoban, and more specifically quarterback Shane Ham, in passing downs. Now out of this empty, they will run a quarterback draw. Not afraid to run Ham. There it is.
There goes Ham, and he cannot get around the defender. That's a nice job. We've been talking about this guy this entire half, Jaden Miles, coming up and making that tackle.
Glad I called him my guy before he started making all these plays, but that's Jaden Miles. Not fooled, not fooled. Maybe he had a headset on and was listening and maybe it's probably more scouting, but he knew and he anticipated quarterback draw. He was right on top of it. And Winton Woods takes a timeout as, they're looking to get the ball back and try and close this gap before halftime. They still have 1:20 to work with. And I think the most important decision is, does Hoban kick the ball to Beacham and their other return men?
Well, we're about to find out. Coming up at halftime, Neil Sika, Matt Finkus, and Harrison Sanford will take a look back at first half action. Plus, Jeff Jordan, Senior Director of Finance and Accounting for the OHSAA, will join Neil on set. That's all in our championship halftime. So 4th down play coming up. Hoban set to kick it. Beacham is back inside the 20-yard line. A good look there at Jacob Branham, the junior punter. And on the other side, there's Beecham waiting for the kick.
We'll see if Winton Woods comes after this.
Gets it away and angles it toward the far sideline. That's a great kick. Out of bounds at the 12-yard line.
Beautiful execution by Branham. That is, Coach Tyrrell could not have drawn up a better punt than what Branham just gave him.
Cornell Beecham punt returns in the postseason, 42-yarder. Last week, 95-yard punt return against Anderson in the regional semifinal, so that's why you kick it to the sideline.
In addition to that, last week he had a punt return that set him up at the 5-yard line. He almost had 2 in the same game. I wouldn't kick it anywhere near number 1.
First and 10. Winton Woods.
So first down and 10 here for the Warriors. They're inside the 15-yard line, and there is a whistle.
Penalty marker before the snap.
Timeout was taken.
Timeout. Hoban. Their last timeout.
I couldn't tell if Coach Tyrrell was talking or having an animated discussion of another type with the officials over on the sideline.
The OHSAA. Fueling up with chocolate milk provides fluids to rehydrate you. Right milks of protein and carbs to refuel you.
So that's your final timeout, as you heard.
Bodies. For information, visit.
I think it's a good timeout also.
Take a look at some of the Division II All-Ohio teams. Chris Oates, linebacker, is the first team. The Defensive Player of the Year for Winton Woods. Quarterback Kenny Mayberry on the second team. And on the other side for Hoban, see a whole bunch of first-teamers right there. R.J. Kelly, Deshaun Martin, Matt Salopek, and on the second team, Nolan Rumler and Garrett Hauser on the third team.
You think these 2 bottom names, maybe they're playing with the chip on their shoulder tonight? Garrett Hauser, third team All-State, and he's coming out and putting on a first-team All-State performance. 2 touchdowns in the first half, and he's saying, hey, voters, how about me?
That's right. 35-14 right here. Keep this in mind. If Winton Woods can get something going in this final minute 13, they opted to take the kickoff to start the second half. They could be right back on offense. You look at Hauser's numbers, 2 touchdowns and 136 yards tonight. But that's, and I'm sure they've talked about that. That's the key. If you find a way to get it done in very little time here, maybe you have a chance to get a couple of scores.
Yeah, look for him to get it to Beecham.
And they are going to throw. Try to throw, and that ball is going to be ruled incomplete. Great pressure right up the middle there.
Hoban has been bringing it defensively. That Kenny Mayberry, not an enviable position, which is attempting to throw with Hoban Knights breathing down your neck. This time, it's number 22, Luke Bauer, only a freshman, younger brother of Nate. And wow.
You got to step up. I mean, you got to go back to the same house tonight. You got to make a play. Right?
That's right.
Second down. Mayberry again under siege. And down he goes. And that was Diamante Trainum. Man, as you said, an unenviable position that he is in right now. They are not allowing Kenny Mayberry to be a factor in this game.
No, they're not. Take a look at number 20 right here, Trainum. And he breaks down again. And, you know, there's... Kenny Mayberry is not even hitting the last step of his drop, and he's got Hoban Knights sitting right next to him at the table. I mean, they've got to find a way to pick up these blitzes, screen, run some screens, and take advantage of...
Is that a round table?
You were looking at me. I was wondering what you were setting me up for.
Over on the far side and going down is Navarre Ganaway.
I was thinking more of like a kid's table, you know, like a 4-seater that adults get. Very close. They're very close to each other.
Knights don't sit at the kids' table. Not a chance. Fourth down coming up here.
10-yard gain to 20.
But again, this defense doing exactly what it needed to do right there. Went out of bounds, so 35 seconds remain. Hoban is out of timeouts. Beecham not that far back. Take this snap, and he is not going to kick it. He fakes it, and he's going for the first down, and he did not get there. It's a great job by Davion Pete to come up and make sure he couldn't get the extra yardage he was looking for there.
Wow. And that's a gutsy call. That is a gutsy call. And I don't know if that's pre-designed. A lot of times, it's almost like that rugby-style punt where the punter makes the decision. If he reads the numbers, he can run it himself. But by not hitting it, they've given Hoban the ball essentially in field goal range. Now, Hoban doesn't have any timeouts, but they've got a lot of offensive weapons and only 21 yards to travel to hang another 6 or 7 on the board.
And you've got a quarterback that's launched it down the field a couple of times tonight for touchdowns. So Ham is ready to go. And he takes that snap, and he looks, and he puts it up again. And this one is going to fall incomplete. The intended receiver was Mason Tipton. Tipton felt that he was interfered with coming off the line. You can see through the body language right there. He's pleading his case.
Yeah, he was nowhere near this football. And when he came out of the break, like right here, he's already pleading to the officials. And that's... And take a look at Shane Ham. He wants it. They all want it. They all want it. It wasn't a complete pass. It wasn't a touchdown. The Knights all want pass interference. Demetrius Gates in coverage. He doesn't want pass interference.
23 seconds left. Second down and 10. Ham calling quickly for his team to get set, and he throws it again. And this time it is going to fall incomplete. As he went after the big man that time, Garrett Hauser.
And they're having trouble, Hoban, tracking this football. I mean, this doesn't look to be pass interference, and Hauser is a little bit far off. He tried the little Anderson Varejao at the end. You see that?
Yeah.
A bump, threw his hands up. The officials were not buying what Garrett Hauser was selling.
No, they weren't. And the funny thing is, we've just seen him make 2 other catches in this game where he had a battle to make the catches. Now, all of a sudden, these last 2 passes, they're hoping to get a flag. Now, they're going to go to the end zone. Or at least past the first down marker, 3rd down and 10.
Well, they have to. They can't stop the clock.
And they throw it again. And there is the catch. And that is good for the touchdown. Right back to Hauser, and he battles this time. Oh, I'm sorry. That is Tipton. Number 8, not number 6. It's Tipton going right back. So they went back to the guy that they started with on the first down pass.
Bob Hoban goes with 3 flags in a row, 3 plays, 3 flag routes to the corner. And this time they go Tipton, Hauser back to Tipton. He gets both feet in. That is a highlight reel catch from Mason Tipton.
It sure is. And Demetrius Gates had the best coverage he could have on him. It wasn't good enough. Another extra point is put through, and Hoban, boy, they take advantage of that missed 4th down conversion, and they turn it into 7 points.
Shane Ham, one of his strengths is throwing the deep ball. And there's a pull in the back again. Demetrius Gates does it again. Look at Shane Ham. 4th touchdown pass of the first half.
That was the most blatant pass interference of all 3 of those plays. That was the one that should have been flagged. It could have been flagged, and then the receiver still makes the catch. Now you can see the demeanor, the difference on both sidelines right now. And that one hurts, quite frankly. That one does hurt. Now 42-14, and you know, you get the ball to start the second half if you're Winton Woods, but you didn't need to get it down 7 more points.
Well, there's a lot of things that didn't need to happen for Winton Woods. You know, that far be it for me to second guess any coaching decisions, but you know, in that type of situation, if you don't get the first down, you're giving the other team points. And coverage-wise, they went to the well, back to the well, and then revisited the well a 3rd time, and finally were able to complete it.
And again, a team that had run that play previously in this game, lofting it up down the sideline and letting those guys run underneath it. And, yep, they did it again. Now they kick the ball out of bounds.
And they're going to make them re-kick.
Okay. Well, what do you have to lose? I mean, if Maybe if you make them put it in play and one of your guys runs. They ran it back the last time, 92 yards for a touchdown. Shane Ham, look at his numbers. 4 touchdowns, tying the Division II championship game record, and we're only at the half. 6 of 9 for him. You know, and those, how great are those numbers? I mean, he's not asked to throw the ball a lot here, but when he is asked to throw the ball, he's putting it where it needs to be. And put it even in further perspective, 2 of those passes came on that last drive where they thought that maybe there was pass interference. I mean, he's really throwing the football well.
Yeah, you could argue, I mean, his numbers say 66% completion. You could argue it's higher than that. But Shane Ham, even on the incomplete passes, the ball was exactly where it was supposed to be. And that's the impressive thing. You know, Coach Tyrrell talked about the tradition that was built, upholding that. And watch out, because Prince has the ball again.
And he has it at the 14. He's already up to the 30-yard line. Breaks the tackle and will be taken down at the 36-yard line with 4 seconds remaining in the half. There's our setup there. Neil Sika, Matt Finkus, Harrison Sanford, ready to go to work. There they are. Do they look better from that angle? I don't know.
I'm staying out of that one.
Matt has to turn around. Yeah, I'm not taking this. We'll see those guys at halftime here in just a moment. 42-14, Hoban has the lead. Only 4 seconds remaining here in this first half. Kenny Mayberry in the shotgun. And then they just hand it off. And try to power it. And they do that for a while, but Williams up to the 50-yard line, and that is it. So what a half it was for the Hoban Knights as they put it in the end zone 6 times, and they have a 42-14 lead. And let's set it down to Marissa on the sideline.
Coach, 29 seconds, no timeouts. What impressed you about the poise Shane Ham has shown tonight, especially on that drive to make sure he came away with points?
Well, the biggest thing is the offensive line is protecting. He really hasn't gotten hit yet. So they're setting pressure, but we're doing a good job of picking up on their blitzes, which gives him a chance. You know, when the team's going cover 0 and playing all man, we have some pretty good receivers. So we think we're getting open. We're looking at Shane's doing a great job of looking at the matchups and seeing where their better DBs are, and he's doing a good job of seeing that and recognizing it, and the O-line's doing a great job of protection.
Defensively, you're giving Winston Woods a lot of problems, especially up front with your front 4. Well, how does that need to continue in the second half to really keep that pressure coming to Kenny Mayberry?
Well, the biggest thing is, we got to make tackles. On the one drive, you know, we're in there trying to strip the ball and everyone's trying to make a play instead of just doing their job. Other than that, they're playing good. You know, they're getting little chunks of yards here and there, but the main part of it is they're not getting anything really big other than that one drive.
Coach, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
So, Hoban, big first half. Winton Woods got on the board a couple of times, but not nearly enough. They trail 42-14 at halftime.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in Ohio. This is sportsmanship. School sports, it's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Value. It's a word that seems to have lost its meaning. But for us, it's more than a word. At Spectrum, we believe in giving you more than you expect, for less. Like more on-demand choices, faster download speeds, more Wi-Fi hotspots to connect to, and above all, no contracts, no hidden charges, no surprises. Because that's the way we'd expect to be treated too. Spectrum, redefining what a cable company can be.
Weeknights.
Come on, you don't know.
Are for the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason.
Hello? What, you've never been on a talk show?
At 6, Lesson Company break down the night in sports live, taking your calls and battling the ridiculous.
What? I'm just reading you what Bob is writing.
More sports and less Levine, Monday through Thursday night at 6 on Spectrum Sports. Exclusively on Spectrum.
This
is it. This is what you worked for. This is what you fought for. This is what you live for. The state championships live here on Spectrum Sports, exclusively on Spectrum. It's not about last year. It's not about the last game. It's about the journey. And this one lives right here. The television home of the Dayton Flyers, Spectrum Sports. Flyers basketball, Wednesday at 7 on Spectrum Sports. You're watching the OHSAA Football State Championships exclusively on Spectrum Sports. The rights to this broadcast have been granted by the OHSAA, representing 822 high schools across Ohio and more than 350,000 boys and girls who participate annually in OHSAA.
Hey man, it's Robo out here, man. I'm doing this free live stream. It's probably illegal as hell. Don't call the police. Don't report this, because if I get a strike on my YouTube, then that'll probably suck. But you know, just keep watching, share it. And if they want to watch the game, whoever's looking for the game, just tell them, you know, got the link, send them the link. It's on YouTube. I think it's private, so you know, just go ahead and go ahead and subscribe if y'all want to. But y'all know, hope my niggas get back, you know. That wasn't the best football they played all year. But I know they're going to come back, you know, and give them everything they got.
Yeah, I mean, I think that when you watch them get up big, Winton Woods started to answer back with some big plays. Now, in weeks past, Winton Woods has been able to steamroll teams and just allow those big plays to continue. Hoban, though, a championship fiber team, they come back and answer and then really start to steamroll Winton Woods here, and they're in trouble. Winton Woods, you know, almost in a desperate have to score coming off this kickoff at halftime right here.
And obviously that decision at the end of the half for Cornell Beecham to try to go forward on the fake punt, not resulting in a first down, let alone also giving up a touchdown pass, could be crucial going forward in the second half of this game.
First of the 7 championships kicking off tonight, and the action, well, it didn't take too long. First play from scrimmage, Hoban's quarterback, a freshman.
Just like that.
He's a ham. It's Shane, 73 yards. Garrett Hauser, what a first half he had, reeling it in, 7-0. Then on the ensuing drive, punt is blocked. Davion Pete, Donnie Swain picks it up, goes 21 yards, 14-0 Knights after the first quarter. The second quarter, which featured 42 points between both. Hoban went back up by 21, 28-7, and then how about the longest kickoff return in D2 championship history? Raekwon Prince, 92 yards, and Winton Woods. Not the case. Tipton, first of 2 scores. Looked like he stepped out there at the 1. They gave him the score. It was 35-14. Then, after failing to convert 4th down in their own territory,
my bad, I keep
that's the killer. Touchdown to Tipton, his second. 4 touchdown passes for Ham. Here are your first half stats. Well, Winton Woods, more of the ball, but the big play potential of Hoban has just been killer. Almost 300 yards of total offense. Receivers galore, aerial attack. We knew about the ground game. And then Shane Ham. Garrett Hauser better enjoy this now, because you're not going to get that type of aerial threat at the Naval Academy, but Ham's been outstanding.
I mean, at this point, Shane Ham, the freshman, is going to be senior prom king, because the way he's balling tonight, unbelievable. 4 touchdown passes, and Garrett Hauser has really helped him. By the way, Quinn Smith has only allowed 11 receptions in his coverage tonight. That was just one. That was made it number 12. Garrett Hauser, that shows you how well he is playing. Made a 5-yard reception, looked like a touchdown. It's making the job easy for Shane Ham. Not looking like a freshman at all. Great decision making at the quarterback position.
At Winton Woods, early in the game, the block punt, interception, last week good enough to overcome, but against a team with the championship pedigree, as you were just talking about, it's going to be tough to pull off.
Yeah, I mean, in these type of games, you've got to play mistake-free football. You see here the bad snap on the first play from scrimmage, leading to the block punt here that led to another Archbishop Hoban touchdown to make it to 14-0. Interception as they're driving down to try to answer the Hoban touchdown. Then the fake punt doesn't make it. This turns into 7 points for Hoban. You add all this together, 4 penalties as well. 2 more penalties that were declined. You got 10 negative plays for Hoban on the night as well. 2 for 7 on third down. Just too many mistakes right now for Winton Woods to overcome. They got to play mistake-free football in the second half to try to make this a game.
Knights have 1 foot toward the podium in raising a 3rd straight championship. This one in Division II. Through the air, they've got it done. 42-14 at the half.
It's not about last year. It's not about the last game. It's about the journey. And this one lives right here. The television home of the Dayton Flyers, Spectrum Sports. Flyers basketball, Wednesday at 7 on Spectrum Sports.
On the spectacular new campus of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, the OHSAA Football State Championships return to Canton November 30th through December 2nd at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. The pinnacle of the high school season returns to the birthplace of football as Stark County welcomes back all 7 title games. Log on to the football page at ohsaa.org for information on the state playoffs and tickets. Make it a weekend to remember with the state championships and the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Don't miss your chance to be part of history.
Weeknights. Come on, you don't know.
Are for the self-proclaimed boys of truth and reason.
Hello? What, you've never been on a talk show?
At 6, Lesson Company break down the night in sports live, taking your calls and battling the ridiculous.
What? I'm just reading you what Bob is writing.
More sports and less Levine, Monday through Thursday night at 6 on Spectrum Sports. Exclusively on Spectrum.
At Spectrum, we know you want it all. Speed and reliability. Strength and flexibility. Everything at your fingertips, instantly. This is our challenge. It's why we've built an advanced fiber-rich network that connects hundreds of millions of devices today and countless more tomorrow. That's why our work is never done. Spectrum, redefining what a cable company can be.
This is it. This is what you worked for. This is what you fought for. This is what you live for. The state championships. Kirtland, Marion Local. Saturday at 9:30 on Spectrum Sports. Exclusively on Spectrum.
Only 0.5% of all high school student athletes play basketball in college. But all 100% of them become adults. That's why playing basketball on their high school team is so important. High school athletes learn life lessons that help them grow up. Lessons that can't be taught in the classroom and often aren't taught at home. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Championship halftime continues, a 42-14. Archbishop Hoban lead over the Warriors of Winton Woods. Their band, one of the best in the states. Well, the OHSAA every year makes this a phenomenal event for the Prep Stars. Jeff Jordan, the Senior Director of Finance and Accounting, joining me here. Great to see you.
Thanks for having us. We really appreciate you being here tonight.
How exciting is it to be in this atmosphere? Very intimate compared to Ohio Stadium, which is great, but this is fantastic.
It really is. I really enjoy seeing the fans being able to be this close to the students and create a great atmosphere. That's what we should have for state championship games and that kind of thing. It is amazing to have that kind of support, and I think these students really rise to that occasion because of it.
Well, you stay very busy throughout the year. School treasurers, boosters, such a big part of the athletic departments. your daily routine, your logistics throughout the year, and how you deal with them and keep things in line.
Yeah, it is a real important part of the thing. To have these students come out here on the field and be able to perform at the level that they do, they need those backroom support operations that are the local volunteers that they need to be in place, and fundraising for them to have a great experience. And then the school treasurers can have an opportunity for them to have good accountability structures to make sure that all the money that's raised and all the good things that happen in a community go right to the benefit of the students, and that's the most important part. So every day I take calls from school treasurers and booster clubs. We go around the state and try to do as many opportunities to train people, to help them understand bad actors really have no place in this world for when you're working with student athletes like this. All the things that we can do to protect those dollars and protect those resources, we want to give every chance to have that happen at schools.
And I've got to imagine successful football programs, as you go deeper into week 12 and 13, 14, the financial incentives have got to be kind of nice.
They are, and I'll tell you, one of the nice things that we're able to do in Ohio that a lot of other states can't do is provide reimbursements for travel. So schools, when they bring their buses in for their bands, the great band that we just saw from Winton Woods, the students that come here that participate, we're able to reimburse for their travel costs, give them some meals because they're here as the team needs to be fed when they're here, and then make sure that their lodging is taken care of. All those things go to make that championship atmosphere that we think is really important to have a good experience. This might be the only time some of these students ever have an opportunity to be part of this, and we got to make sure that it's a special event when we do.
Great stuff, Jeff. Thanks so much. Enjoy the weekend.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us, Neil.
All right, that's Jeff Jordan, Senior Director of Finance and Accounting for the OHSAA. Archbishop Holben 42, Winton Woods 14. The Prince gets the best of the Knights on this kickoff return.
Tuesday nights, it's game time. Join Greg Miller, Steve Hellwagon, and Josh Harris as they break down the week's best in Ohio college football. Your teams, your schools.
Look at that acrobatic move.
What you live for lives here. Game Time Ohio, Tuesdays at 8. Only on Spectrum Sports. Exclusively on Spectrum. Tuesday nights are for Ohio college football. Spectrum Sports is teaming up with your favorite site where Ohio State fans gather. 11 Warriors Report. Join the pros from 11 Warriors as they preview the week ahead and deliver everything Scarlet and Gray fans need to know. 11 Warriors Report, Tuesday nights, only on Spectrum Sports. Exclusively on Spectrum.
At Spectrum, we believe you get out what you put in. Think about it. More than 1 million businesses thriving because they've got our fast, reliable internet, voice, and TV service. We sweat every detail because your reliability relies on ours. That's why we've invested billions in our fiber-rich network, and we'll never stop putting more into our business so you can get more out of yours. Spectrum, redefining what a cable company can be.
It's not about last year. It's not about the last game. It's about the journey. And this one lives right here. The television home of the Dayton Flyers, Spectrum Sports. Flyers basketball, Wednesday at 7 on Spectrum Sports.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in Ohio. This is sportsmanship. School sports, it's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Getting a little chillier in Canton as we're getting ready for the second half D2 state championship. Big lead for Holben. What does Winton Woods have to do if they have any shot at all?
I mean, they got to play mistake-free football. They can't keep turning the ball over. They can't make those silly penalties. And they've got to get some stops and get their offense back on the field, get their defense off on third downs.
On special teams, I'm afraid they're going to have to do it again. AD, they're going to need to do that to have a chance to win.
Archbishop Hoban trying to wrap up 3 championships in a row. Special teams playing a big part on their end with the touchdown by Swain. Bob Ryan and the rest on the other side.
You already know. This is it. But I'm not going to be no second commentator. I'm going to just what you worked for.
This is what you fought for. This is what you live for. The state championships. Mentor, Pickerington Central. Friday at 7:30 on Spectrum Sports. Exclusively on Spectrum.
Back at the 5. He will score!
Still on the move. Now he shoots it.
And I know you guys sort of tired of hearing my voice, but I'm doing this for copyright, so please make sure it doesn't get taken down. So we'll keep bugging it out.
What you live for lives here. We are Spectrum Sports, exclusively on Spectrum.
On the spectacular new campus of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, the OHSAA Football State Championships return to Canton November 30th through December 2nd at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. The pinnacle of the high school season returns to the birthplace of football as Stark County welcomes back all 7 title games. Log on to the football page at ohsaa.org for information on the state playoffs and tickets. Make it a weekend to remember with the state championships and the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Don't miss your chance to be part of history.
Sunday mornings at 10:30, Spectrum Sports takes an in-depth look at your community.
People are talking about it.
In Focus with Mike Kohlmeyer, a half-hour show that digs deeper into the issues you and your family care about. A place where decision makers come together and highlight the issues that matter to you, your community, your state, your show. In Focus with Mike Kohlmeyer, Sunday mornings at 10:30 on Spectrum Sports, exclusively on Spectrum.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in Ohio. This is sportsmanship. School sports, it's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
This is an exclusive presentation of Spectrum Sports, presented by Nationwide Children's Hospital Sports Medicine. When your child needs a hospital, everything matters. By American Dairy Association Mideast. Fuel up with chocolate milk. By Spectrum, redefining what a cable company can be. And by Toyota, let's go places. Now, the 2017 State Championships continue live from Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton.
Getting ready to start the second half. Bob McElligott, Ryan Cavanaugh with you. We're also joined by Marissa Contapelli. She's on the sidelines. Let's send it to her.
Thanks a lot, guys. Coach, you trail Hoban by 28 points. What was the message to your team at halftime?
We got to keep playing. We got to limit our mistakes. We made too many mistakes. Can't give a great team like that opportunities, and we've given them a lot. Now they've played well, and we've played really bad. But we got to play with a lot more effort. We got to communicate, get after it, and have fun doing what we do.
Who needs to step up for you defensively?
Everybody.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, that was well put. Everybody. And he knows exactly what his team has to do here. They have to find ways to get on the board time and time again. They will get the football to start the second half of this game. They did have flashes in the first half, but it was Hoban that had the big play touchdowns and the big plays in general here tonight.
Garrett Hauser and Mason Tyler both showing up.
Again, I'm already bugging y'all, but keep liking it, keep sharing it, and do everything. I'm over here looking at every time they go in the crowd.
Swain with the Block punt and the return into the end zone.
Hauser, a couple of touchdowns. Proud of y'all for making it out there.
Warriors team.
Proud of y'all for actually coming on this and supporting them.
Motivated. Let's take a look at Shane Ham. And tonight, he's a star the way he's throwing the football.
He's done a great job of putting it out there.
Definitely, I'm proud of this. I'm proud of this. Whatever the outcome of this game is, I'm definitely proud of this team.
He goes deep to Hauser, then he comes back. He goes short to Hauser. Mason Tipton involved. These numbers, that tells the story. 6 of 9, 231 yards, 4 TDs. This is a beautiful pass. Shane Ham has showed to be very proficient throughout the season, throwing the deep ball. And to me, this is as good as he's looked throwing the deep ball all season.
Well, this is one you want to look your best, right? State championship game, find a way to get it done, and he has really put them in position to do that here tonight. 42 points in the first half for that Hoban offense. And I can't see them being a team that's going to be just trying to hold on in the second half. They're going to build on as much as they can.
Coach Tyrell is never the type of coach who takes his foot off the gas. I expect him to come out here and pressure Hoban defensively, try and get the ball back as soon as possible, and then go up top, give it to the running backs, continue to do what they've been doing so successfully in this.
And just as the Warriors did at the end of the first half, they're going to make them re-kick it again.
I would too. The kick return game, whether it's in the punt or kickoff, that's one of the best weapons that Winton Woods has. And if I was Hoban, I might just pooch it right in the middle, right around the 40-yard line. Don't even give Prince or Beacham an opportunity to hurt you.
The Wi-Fi in this school is failing me again. My bad.
There's Beacham. He was talking with Prince a moment ago, just making sure they're on the same page, depending upon what happens. Line drive kick. Prince backs up to take it at the 13-yard line. At the 25, makes a cut over the 30, the 40, coming back to the near sideline, breaks another tackle, and he is going to be down at the 40-yard line of Hoban, and that's why you make them kick it over. They got exactly what they were looking for.
You might as well onside kick it if you're Hoban. I mean, kicking it off deep to them, that has not proved to be a very good idea. Now, credit 27, Dawson Fitzpatrick. There he misses him once. He stays with it and is able to bring Prince down. But, you know, they're starting at the 40-yard line of Hoban.
That's a good point that you make. They kicked it from the 35. 5 yards is all the differences when it's all said and done. Kenny Mayberry at quarterback. Hands it off. And nothing much there on the left side once again. Williams has had a tough night here. Early on, he was running the football well, and then the defense made adjustments. And now all of a sudden they're shutting those runs down. Those runs that once upon a time were going for 12, 15 yards are going for 2 or 3 yards. Look at the numbers on Kenny Mayberry. He's only completed 3 of 7 passes, rather. And running, where he is very dangerous, they have kept him in check tonight. He wants to throw, and he does. And this is incomplete. What coverage there by Nate Bauer as Navarre Gunaway was the intended receiver.
And you're absolutely right. This is excellent coverage. Bauer right behind him, and at the last second punches it out with his right hand.
Excellent defensive play. Leaves a 3rd down and 9.
And here's defensively. This is Deshaun Martin, the player I was talking about earlier, on his way to Cincinnati. At halftime, I did some investigating. I said, where is he? And I was told he wore 52, the number 52 in the first half. Now he's back to his traditional 17.
Here's another pass that is incomplete. It was intended for Beacham. There was good pressure on the quarterback, and there was double coverage on the receiver. Incomplete pass, 4th down and 9.
And what do you do with the talent like Deshaun Martin? You double team him. Look at Mayan Williams, number 28. He was thinking about being the 3rd man to make sure big number 17 stays off their quarterback. Deshaun Martin, he was a quarterback his freshman year at another school. His family moved. He attends Hoban. And coach said, we already have a quarterback. How about we try on defense? And he's been starting defensive end for the Knights ever since.
So a return by Matt Salopek. It's a line drive kick, and you see Salopek, good hands right there as he pulls it in and gets a little bit of yardage back the other way.
Matt Salopek, another one of the Division I talents on this team. I know Iowa, Northwestern, they're both pining for his services. A very good student. And there you see the 4 touchdowns by Shane Ham ties Division II championship game record. I'm sure he's thinking about having that record all to himself.
Handoff and nothing there for Tyrus Dickerson. In the first half yards, 298 for Hoban.
Hody, offense, number 28, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Now, one of the few mistakes that Hoban has made tonight. I don't even know if they had a penalty called against them in the first half of the game.
I don't think they had a penalty or really anything bad happened in the first half.
They were responsible with and without the football. But here they're backed up 10 yards. And that's the second one. So there was one. Man goes in motion behind Ham. He looks and makes a throw to the 15-yard line and get out to the 18-yard line. The ball wound up free, but the whistle had already blown.
Gio Gamble ended up with the football. And this is the play they ran for the touchdown earlier to Hauser. Wide receiver screen. They get the lineman out in front. That's a great play by Jalen Felton. Look at number 21. Hit him, secure the tackle. And when he hits the ground, the ball's down.
Second down and 15. Well, handoff. And bouncing off a would-be tackler and getting a few extra yards is Tranum.
Quinn Smith from his cornerback position comes up to make the hit. And take a look at Tranum. Wow, what a hit by number 55, R.J. Kelly. What a block. R.J. Kelly, the center, makes all the line calls on his way to Akron next year. Quinn Smith has an offer from Tennessee State. This is a star-studded Division II game. You see Brandon Jones, Maurice Chatwin, guys doing the dirty work down at the defensive line.
And here's the throw. Near sideline, and that is ruled incomplete. And the intended receiver was Nate Bauer. So that'll bring up a fourth down.
Now, side judge was looking right down the sidelines. We'll get a look at it here. Yeah, Bauer gets that right foot in. The question is, does he have control of the football when this foot goes down? And the magic of television, I think, tells us yes. It's a great effort by Bauer, regardless whether it's ruled a catch or not.
Here's a punt, and Winton Woods lets it roll inside the 40. It goes all the way to the 36. By the way, when there are calls that are made or not made and coaches say, don't worry, it all evens itself out, it does. It does. We just saw evidence of that. Hoban with a 42-14 lead. The Warriors are getting the football.
Weeknights.
Come on, you don't know.
Are for the self-proclaimed boys of truth and reason.
Hello? What, you've never been on a talk show?
At 6, Lesson Company break down the night in sports live, taking your calls and battling the ridiculous.
What? I'm just reading you what Bob is writing.
More sports and less Levine, Monday through Thursday night at 6 on Spectrum Sports. Exclusively on Spectrum.
on the spectacular new campus of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The OHSAA Football State Championships return to Canton November 30th through December 2nd at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. The pinnacle of the high school season returns to the birthplace of football as Stark County welcomes back all 7 title games. Log on to the football page at ohsaa.org for information on the state playoffs and tickets. Make it a weekend to remember with the state championships and the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Don't miss your chance to be part of history.
Hoban was forced to punt it away. Winton Woods about to go back on offense. Before they do, let's send it to Marissa Contapelli.
Guys, check out what I have found on the Hoban sideline. Yes, it is the Hoban turnover chains. Marcus Sahir, a junior defensive back, has been out with injury, so he has been the keeper of the turnover chains for the season. Interesting story. It all started week 2 thanks to Nate Bauer's idea.
Hey, can we get these corny ass people off television though?
They came up with this.
I don't want to see it.
I don't know about you, but I'm kind of liking the way it looks on me right now. What do you think?
Copyright.
Very stylish, Marissa.
Stylish is the word.
That's it. Very stylish. But isn't she always?
A handoff with running room. And Williams, he's across the 50, the 40. And will be taken down right at about the 30-yard line. Mayan Williams with a big run, and that's another big run for him in this game. He had a big one in the first half as well.
And the last time, the big run that set up a touchdown, the touchdown to Beecham, really ignited the Winton Woods Warriors. And I think this is what they need. They need a spark. Offensively, they need to string a few of these plays together, not just one isolated chunk play.
Hey, Mary.
It is that UT Martin Wi-Fi for you, my bad.
But the quick passing game, the running game, having that mix, I don't think they've had that offensive balance yet this evening.
Handed off to Williams, and there's plenty of room again on the right side. Finally, he's brought down inside the 10-yard line. I think this is going to be a flag against Winton Woods.
I think they're going to get Beecham number 1
back
on
in
the
action.
edge, right here at the tail end.
University of Tennessee has terrible Wi-Fi, so.
And Fitzpatrick was able to make the tackle, but he had to kind of throw off Beecham, who had grabbed a hold of him for a second.
Holding, offense, number 1, 10-yard play, first down.
It was Cornell Beecham. Of course, Beecham's only 5'8", 170. Fitzpatrick, 6 foot, 190. Maybe just making it fair by holding.
Mayberry with a pass on the right side. Again, another short gain as he targets Rayshawn Brown for the first time tonight.
There's a quick pass again.
Nice catch.
Yeah, it has to lay out. That's a good ball placement. You know, I don't think Rayshawn Brown got there and got his head around quick enough to catch the football and maintain his feet. But that's, as a quarterback on that hitch route, you want to have it right that level and to the outside shoulder. It's exactly where Kenny Mayberry put it.
Second down play. Mayberry swings it left side, and that is caught by Ganaway, and he is immediately dropped.
Well, Nate Bauer sitting on the corner, and Kenny Mayberry thought he was going to go with the wide receiver. They run a choice. Well, it's not a choice route. They put Bauer into a position that he has to make a choice. Does he continue to cover the wide receiver, or does he come off on the swing pass? That time he baited Mayberry into thinking he was going to bail, and then he came off and made a nice tackle behind the line of scrimmage.
That leaves a 3rd down and 13. Mayberry, double pump, throws for the end zone. That's well away from his receiver. Incomplete pass. Prince was the intended receiver, and that'll bring up a 4th down.
Coverage by Nate Bauer.
And they're in a situation where they've got to get into the end zone here.
4th and 13 from the 21.
Yeah, they've dug themselves quite a hole. And short of outside of the touchdown where they ran that slant over the middle, none of the passing attempts have been either intermediate or over the middle. Everything is either a screen or a hitch on the outside, not a screen, a swing pass or a hitch on the outside, or a shot deep.
4 receiver set. One coming in motion. Mayberry with pressure. He is hit. He's dropped. That's a sack and a turnover on downs. Getting in there is a big part of that tackle was Bryce Thompson. You can see his celebration right after the plays. We look at it again.
Look at good pressure, but I think he missed his receiver, Navarre Ganaway. Right here, number 3, he's going to come over the middle, and he's wide open. Look at Ganaway right there. Ball's got to come out right there. And that's the middle part of the defense that I was talking about earlier. It's open. You got to put guys there, and then you got to give the guys the football there.
Second time that it's been turned over on downs by Winton Woods. And now Hoban back to work with the running game as Dickerson gains a couple. And it's no secret right now for Hoban, if they can control the football, keep it on the ground, keep the clock turning, that's got to be their game plan the rest of the way here. They're up by a bunch. Their defense just came up with the stop and the turnover on downs. It'll be the offense's job to grind it out and run that clock.
Well, they've got the horses to do it. And first down, you get 4 yards. Take that every time.
This time, quarterback keeps it himself. And Shane Ham picks up a couple.
Hoban dipping into Kirtland and Tiger Laverty's playbook, running the quarterback sneak on 2nd down. Although I suppose maybe he dug that out of the Patriots playbook, because they'll do that with Tom Brady.
Leaves the 3rd down and 2. This is a big play for the Winton Woods defense right here.
Well, Coach Tyrell pointed out they're playing cover 0. They're just playing man across, and he thinks his wide receivers are good enough to beat him.
Ham throws, and he completes it to Dickerson, who breaks a tackle, and he gets out to the 39-yard line, and there's a flag on the play.
This is going to be a defensive chop block.
So Dickerson picks up that first down.
This is a great play call.
So the penalty gets marked off from the end of the play.
Defense, number 22. And onto the end of the run. First down.
Boy, how big of a mistake is that?
Inopportune. Let's see, they get Chris Oates. Watch the tail end of this. He's going to go on R.J. Kelly right there. Dives at the ankles of the lineman. And R.J. Kelly, he's lucky. I mean, he got up, no problem. He's got tree trunks for legs, but looked dangerous.
Trying to bounce to the outside, not finding any running room there. There's DeMonte Traynham. Right back to the line of scrimmage, 2nd down and 10.
And he ran right into Markeith White. Now, Dickerson, or Traynham rather, nothing there. Bounces it out. Chris Oates blew that play up. Number 22 went right over top of R.J. Kelly, pushed Kelly back into Traynham. Traynham had to bounce. Markeith White makes the play. And Winton Woods, the Warriors, they need a little bit more of that energy. They have to be the aggressor.
And over the left side. And again, Traynham finding a couple of yards. See the penalties here tonight. Winton Woods has been guilty of 6 penalties for 62 yards. There's 3 for Hoban tonight.
Winton Woods, that's the first.
Sideline warning.
Sideline warning, yep.
Andre Parker, the head coach. We take a look at him. He was the defensive coordinator in 2009, which was the last time Winton Woods was in the finals, and they won it. He's trying to get his first state championship as a head coach. I'd say he has a little work to do.
He does. It all starts with the defense here. 3rd down and long. Can they stop this play? Ham is going to throw. Now he wants to run. There is a flag. Ham still on his feet. Now he gets taken down as he got back to the middle of the field. Good job to pursue and bring him down. And that's Gamble that makes the tackle.
Penalty markers on the play.
Johnny Gamble on that tackle. Flag is against Hoban.
I think they're going to get Rumler on a hold. We'll see if it's on 70.
Holding. Offense. Number 7. Penalties 5. 3rd down.
And now the question as a freshman quarterback is the pocket clean? Are you protected? Because sometimes you run out of the pocket when you don't have to. Look, there's no pressure, and he runs out of the pocket. Now, I'm not sure where well, it doesn't really matter. If you're a quarterback, you stay in the pocket. And just because that internal clock is up and you think, well, they should be getting to me by now, if they haven't, you stay in the pocket. And I think that's what Coach Tyrell was talking to him about.
And now they're going to have to kick it away. High kick. And Beecham takes it at the 10-yard line. And he'll run it back to the 20-yard line. And he took it in a crowd. He ran it in a crowd. And he got 10 yards on the return. 2:35 to go here in the 3rd quarter. There you see Kenny Mayberry on the sideline. So far, it hasn't been his night. He wants to change that. That last offensive series, made a couple of passes, picked up some first downs.
Return to the 20-yard line.
Didn't convert on 4th down, however, and turned it over. Get a good look right there at Trainum. And also joined by Kentrell Drag as this defense is ready to go back to work. 1st down and 10. Mayberry looking left, still looking. As he looks back to the right, he could have been sacked. Instead, he throws it into coverage, and he's lucky he didn't get that one picked off. Donnie Swain, he did a great job of making sure he didn't get sacked, and then he almost made a really bad throw.
Well, he's lucky it was a bad throw. Let's see who gets home here. Oh, it's Trainum. My goodness. He just overran him. Trainum looked to go up top on him. If he just put his shoulder down, he would have ran right through Kenny Mayberry. But that's a delayed blitz. When you have a linebacker with the speed of Trainum, you can delay blitz. The line doesn't pick it up, and he still is going to get home in time because of his speed. And here he comes again.
Yep. This time he does get hit, and he gets taken down immediately. Davion Pete getting in there and making the tackle. Big senior defensive lineman, 6'2", 215 pounds, and he's on him quickly here.
Watch Pete. Now here comes Trainum at the end. Superman right on the back of Mayberry. Davion Pete, only 215 pounds, playing defensive tackle, but his quickness has been too much. And now if you look at the defensive alignment of Hoban, there's number 17, Deshaun Martin, who plays end. He's over the nose. Pete is at tackle, and then they bring in another defensive end. You got Reed Allen, so it's a speed lineup to rush the passer.
And they throw, and the pass is complete at the 30-yard line. And it looks as though Beecham has enough for the 1st down.
And this is a good 1st down completion. First of all, look where it is. It's over the middle. That's where it's been wide open. And if Kenny Mayberry puts this on Beecham and not behind him, Beecham's still running. There was nobody in the center of the field. Great play call. Good catch by Cornell Beecham.
Handoff. And spinning his way over the left side is Williams. He drags a couple of guys with him. And he's going to wind up getting 9 yards on that carry.
He is tough to bring down. Watch the leg drive of the sophomore. Look at the legs. They keep pumping and driving. and he carries defenders with him.
They give it to him again, and he's got the first down.
Diane Williams on the carry.
Under a minute to go here in the third quarter. Clock stops while they reset the chains. But again, Ryan, this is the only problem with this part of the game plan is they don't have time to run it the rest of the night.
No, they've increased the tempo a little bit, but getting 3-4 yards a carry, 4 yards, 5 yards, and then a 2-yard. I mean, it's effective to move the ball, but as you pointed out.
Now again, he's ripped off 2 big runs tonight. Now if that happens, totally different story. But yes, the 3 and 4 yards at a time. At this point, you're down under 30 seconds remaining here in the third quarter, and you're down by a bunch. And here, Mayberry with the throw. There is a flag on the play, and the pass is incomplete. Man in coverage was Nate Bauer, and Prince was the intended receiver. And a chop block is called against the offense. And that came before Kenny Mayberry ever let go of the football. That flag was thrown. Now a lot of discussion on the field.
Chop block, offense, 64, 15-yard penalty, second down.
There's Paul McKnight. He's the left guard. Keep an eye on him. And there he's engaged.
Second down, 23.
Yeah, they called it earlier. He was up top, and then the left tackle, who I believe is Brendan Lowry, hit Martin Lowe.
Oh, there was a high snap. Mayberry was able to bring it in, but Reed Allen was the first guy to get a hand on him. There you see Allen, number 33, knifed in there, and he makes that tackle.
Well, everybody's in there. Allen's first. There's Pete. Martin jumps on top. Bryce Thompson. The front 4 defensive linemen for Hoban were all on top of Kenny Mayberry, and it was maybe a second or 2 after the ball was snapped.
So that is the final play of the third quarter. And Winton Woods trying to get something going, but still trailing by a bunch, 42-14.
This is it. This is what you worked for. This is what you fought for. This is what you live for. The state championships. Steubenville, Clinton Massey, Saturday at 2:30 on Spectrum Sports, exclusively on Spectrum. This is it. This is what you worked for. This is what you fought for. This is what you live for. The state championships live here on Spectrum Sports, exclusively on Spectrum.
Value. It's a word that seems to have lost its meaning. But for us, it's more than a word. At Spectrum, we believe in giving you more than you expect, for less. Like more on-demand choices, faster download speeds, more Wi-Fi hotspots to connect to, and above all, no contracts, no hidden charges, no surprises. Because that's the way we'd expect to be treated too. Spectrum, redefining what a cable company can be.
The fourth quarter here in this Division II championship game. Hoban with the lead, 42-14 over Winton Woods. Bob McElligott, Ryan Cavanaugh, Marissa Contepelli with you here in Canton. Here's a throw from Kenny Mayberry, and this ball is picked off. That ball intercepted at the 39-yard line, and Matt Salopek making the the pick right there. That's another good show of hands for him tonight. We've seen this a couple of times.
Matt Salopek had a game earlier this year where he had 4 interceptions in the same game. You can see why. Look at the break on the ball. It's a catch. And then as he gets up to celebrate, he loses control of it. And he's talking to Coach Tyrrell about it right now, and he gets the turnover chain.
He does. And with the handoff here, and a couple of yards picked up over the right side.
I had a chance to cover Hoban the week after Salopek had 4 interceptions, and I saw Coach Tyrrell, and I said, please tell me you call him Matt Salopek now.
There you go.
There you go.
Chain.
How long do you wear it for? But I always want to know. And he's still talking about it.
As long as you can. Right? You wear it as long as you can. It's a badge of honor, that thing right there. 2nd down and 7. Take the handoff. Ham's going to run it himself, but not very far. Sniffing that out and being able to make the tackle is Chris Oates.
Matt Salopek. Look at that.
There, yeah. Now he's just into showing it off.
That defense has performed and played well. They've held Winton Woods to 1 offensive touchdown through 3 quarters. And remember, this is a team that scored 56 points on Massillon last week. Now, again, they had a special teams touchdown. Chris Oates, who just made the tackle, he had a pick 6. So it wasn't 8 offensive touchdowns, but it was a lot. It was more than the one they have tonight.
Timeout called by Hoban. 10:32 is what remains here in the 4th quarter.
Hoban. Their first time out of the half.
So, well, mentioned that Hoban has been here before. Not here in this division. Not in Division 2. They moved up this year from Division 3. And here's what they did last year. Won the state title in Division 3.
There's Todd Sibley, a running back who's now at University of Pittsburgh. There's Garrett Hauser making an appearance. But their defense, that was it. Hit the quarterback there was Diamante Trainum as a freshman. There's Trainum leading the cavalry. But, this is really one of the elite programs in the state of Ohio, meaning Hoban. And as you watch back these films, there's Danny Clark, who's at the University of Kentucky playing quarterback, hitting his younger brother, Caden Clark. And you just roll out player after player going Division I. But they're all very well coached. They do a nice job.
Ham takes a hit, and that's one of the very few times somebody's been able to get to him tonight. Evan Blackwell Stevens. There's a good look at him. He's the guy that got him.
And look how long it takes, though. That's a pretty good pocket. Blackwell Stevens finally comes up to get him.
Another punting situation coming up here for Hoban. All of the points came in the first half. And there is movement as Winton Woods was in the neutral zone.
Dead ball, encroachment.
I think Coach
defense, number 3, 5-yard penalty.
Well, what do you do now? Down to the 30-yard line. I think he'll send the offense back out there.
Yeah, I interrupted the official, but I was just about to say, I think he's going to send his offense back out.
Might as well. Just if you don't get it here, you turn it over right at the line of scrimmage, they still have to start at their own 30.
Right, or you try a field goal if you think your kicker's got a 47-yarder in him and go at the 20. But I'm with you. You can run the football from here.
You're up 4 touchdowns. You're right. And don't be surprised if that's exactly what they decide to do.
And if they do, it's going over the right tackle.
And they hand it off to Trainum. And he has to bounce to the outside. They do not get it done. Got to give credit where credit is due. That's good defense. Blackwell Stevens was in there again. He's the first guy to make contact, and he got the legs wrapped up.
Trainum goes outside, and wow, that's a nice play defensively. There's Stevens again. Chris Oates in the mix. Jalen Feltha.
First and 10 at the road 31.
30 tackles this year for Evan Blackwell-Stevens, 4.5 sacks. Nice defensive play there. He will now become a spectator, hoping the offense can get something going. And Mayberry hands it off. Williams to the outside. He's got the first down as he spun out of bounds at the 42.
Williams carries. Worked out of bounds by Matt Talapek.
Well, Mayan Williams, that's a long 10-yard run there all the way across the field.
Yeah, he got a
42-yard line.
He ran a long way to only get 10 yards on,
First and 10.
you know, just move the sticks, 10 yards in the stat book. And Hoban consistently has been this bend but don't break. Even the big plays right now are only going for 10 yards.
Mayberry with a pass. That is complete. And this is going to be another first down. Is bringing that one in is Demir Blankhauser. There we go. Starting to throw different guys now all of a sudden. More guys are getting involved in this game. And that's credit to Winton Woods because they've got to spread it around some. They've been with the same 3 or 4 guys all night long. Looking for new weapons. Here's a handoff. And staying on his feet is Mayan Williams. And he gets to the 41-yard line.
Diamante Trainum is by the football all the time. And if there's one critique, if I may be so bold, it's that he overruns plays. It's almost that he hasn't figured out yet how to control his speed and throttle down.
Mayberry, another throw, caught by Beecham, and he will be on his feet still to the 33-yard line. I thought he was going down at the 35. He turned, he got 2 more yards, took 4 guys to tackle him.
Donnie Swain and Dawson Fitzpatrick come out on the tackle.
Another first down picked up by Winton Woods here. This is the best they've moved the football in quite some time.
Yeah, they look good. Now it's 10 yards at a time. Moving with efficiency and consistency.
Hoban taking a timeout. It will be their second one. See, Winton Woods winning the battle of the rushing yards, 182 to 87. Right now they're putting it into the air with Kenny Mayberry, and Hoban just wants to take a timeout with a first down play coming up and reset, catch their breath. 9:08 to go here in the fourth quarter, and Hoban continues to lead 42-14.
Tuesday nights are for Ohio college football. Spectrum Sports is teaming up with your favorite site where Ohio State fans gather. 11 Warriors Report. Join the pros from 11 Warriors as they preview the week ahead and deliver everything Scarlet and Gray fans need to know. 11 Warriors Report, Tuesday nights, only on Spectrum Sports. Exclusively on Spectrum.
On the spectacular new campus of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, the OHSAA Football State Championships return to Canton November 30th through December 2nd at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. The pinnacle of the high school season returns to the birthplace of football as Stark County welcomes back all 7 title games. Log on to the football page at ohsaa.org for information on the state playoffs and tickets. Make it a weekend to remember with the state championships and the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Don't miss your chance to be part of history.
Friday morning, the Division 7 state championship game between the Minster Wildcats and the Redskins of Cuyahoga Heights kicks off at 10 a.m. Join Neil Sika, Matt Pincus, and Harrison Sanford at 9:30 a.m. for championship pregame right here on Spectrum Sports, your television home for high school sports. And don't forget, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, the Division I championship game between Mentor and Pickerington Central. Huge game there. Division II game continues here with a pass that is complete out to the 29-yard line. You see the first downs. That's one of the statistics that's fairly even right here, right now.
It is. Remember, Hoban has had a lot of explosive big plays, scoring plays. Winton Woods has had a couple long runs from Mayan Williams as he carries it on cue.
Yep, and only gets to the line of scrimmage, the 30-yard line.
There's Reed Allen and number 22, Luke Bauer, who's now going to come out of the game. But consider this. Two of the linebackers, that's one of them. Luke Bauer, he's a 6'1", 230-pound freshman. And then you have Diamante Traynham. So if you want to run up the middle on Hoban any time over the next couple of years, you better pack a lunch.
I didn't know if you were just going to simply say good luck or much more creative. I like that.
Well, you know, just you might need some spinach and you go Popeye style. You know, you got to figure something out because it's going to be tough sledding. You got to bring a hacksaw. Try and work your way through the defense.
Winton Woods takes a timeout here with a 3rd down and 7 staring them in the face. Now it's been a tough night for them. The first offensive play from scrimmage for Hoban was a touchdown pass. Winton Woods got the ball back. They had a punt on their first possession. That got blocked into the end zone for a touchdown. And it's just been that kind of night for them. And for Hoban, many of the things they've touched have turned to gold here tonight. And for Winton Woods, it has not been so much that way. There are the big plays that Hoban has had. See the 73-yard pass, the punt block and return 28 yards, then pass, 46, 38, 21.
It's been impressive work. You know, and I had a chance during halftime. I was talking to Bill Green from Scout.com, and I said coming into this, as I talked to a lot of people in preparation, what the common thread was is that if Winton Woods can stop the rushing attack, you've got to make this freshman quarterback beat you. Well, they didn't even wait for you to try to stop their running attack. They unloaded the freshman quarterback and said, forget about what grade he is. Forget about how long he's been playing the game. This kid can throw. And more importantly, I think it has to do with Coach Tyrrell saying, my wide receivers are going to be your DBs.
Yep. Speaking of DBs, there's Salopek. Again, Salopek in coverage, knocking that pass away. Yeah, you're right. And you know that they prepared all week for a running game. And right out of the chute, bam, 73-yard touchdown pass. You're on your heels at that point. You spent all week, as players, working on this, and all of a sudden, that's not what we expected to see. Coaches can do that. High school players, that's totally different, right?
No, right. You might as well, take their cell phone away from them.
Well, I don't know if it's that drastic. Winton Woods takes another time out here. But yeah, it automatically, what it does is it doesn't just put points on the board, but it creates confusion and doubt. And you start to win the psychological battle the minute you go on the scoreboard.
I couldn't agree more with you, and I think it's a very, very good point because undoubtedly Coach Parker, they've seen what Hoban's doing through the playoffs, and Hoban has put the game in the hands of the 5 offensive linemen and the running backs, and they've overpowered teams. When they didn't come out and try that tactic, they looked as out of place as, well, Lady Liberty.
Andre Parker, as Ryan said earlier, he was the defensive coordinator in 2009. Then in 2010, he took over for Troy Everhart, who went to the coaching staff at Cincinnati. And you can just see Andre Parker, his body language is he's disappointed here tonight. He's disappointed. He expected a better performance out of his team, or maybe he didn't expect such a good performance out of Hoban as he got tonight. And Mayberry almost picked off. That's in and out of the hands of Nate Bauer right there.
Well, this is a special group of kids for Coach Parker. They have, most of these players are 3 or 4 year starters for Coach Parker. Especially, Mayberry, very fond of his quarterback, Nate Bauer, just reading the quarterback's eyes, jumping the route, and almost getting a big interception. And what he's saying right there is, I could be wearing the turnover chain right now.
That's exactly what he's saying.
I think, look, he's telling him, Marcus here.
Could have had this. He's had your name on.
You see this? But you can't.
That's right. First down and 10. And here's a fumble. And doing a nice job to get back on the football is Dickerson. You know what? We're way up high. You could still see the panic on his face the minute that ball came out of his hands.
Yeah, that's a clean handoff. Dickerson just doesn't catch it. And you had earlier said everything's bouncing Hoban's way. Case in point.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Not only do they get the football back, they didn't even lose a yard. Back at the line of scrimmage.
Right.
But yeah, everything that's happened here tonight, this freshman quarterback has been really, really impressive. Just the passes, they've been great. And how about just managing this game? The game of the year in his first time here as a freshman. And look at the work he's doing. Yeah, down at 10.
I've got a fun story for you after this play is Shane Ham.
Oh, he might make it last a while as he gets over midfield into the 46-yard line.
I talked to Coach Tim Terrell, and thank you, Shane Ham, for setting this up. I talked to him about starting a freshman quarterback, and he said, there's nothing that ever phases this guy. He said he'll come over to the sidelines, and look at that move. And he said, things will happen in the game. I'll be yelling at him, and he just looks at me and says, okay, coach. And that's what you want out of your quarterback. I mean, you want a guy who, when things are going great, they're not that excited. And when things are going bad, they're not that upset. Maurice Chapman from the nose tackle position.
Shane Ham with the football that time again. You know, in this day and age, a quarterback to come in as a freshman for a team that's won back-to-back state titles and just be able to be the starter is amazing.
Yeah.
And now you're looking at, you know, you're talking about the guys that you have to deal with if you're playing against Hoban for 3 more years. You've got to face this guy running the offense.
What we see tonight, he's no game manager. He's not out there. He's not managing the game. In fact, he's just set a Division II state record. He tied it with 4 touchdown passes. He's got 6 minutes to try and set the record and hold it on his own.
Timeout. Hoban.
Timeout was taken by Hoban. They were just about to run out of time on the play clock. So just as you say, he's not managing the game. He almost runs out of time on the play clock. So you're right. But again, his mistakes tonight have been few and far between.
Yeah, and this right here, we're looking at Maurice Chapman, who just had that tackle for loss. And I mentioned Coach Parker being very close and fond of his players. This is one of the guys, he said, what he does, I can't give an award for, and I can't give him enough praise. He never comes off the field. He plays the nastiest positions. That's center and nose tackle. And in short, he said he's a special guy. He's our rock. He's a senior leader. And Coach Parker, you know, he gets it. He said the linebackers get to run around and look pretty, but that's because of what this guy right here, Maurice Chapman, is doing.
And unfortunately for him and for every senior on that field, doesn't matter what side of the football you're on right now, you've got under 6 minutes left in your high school career. So a little run off the right side. Train him just with a couple of yards there. Only one. They'll give him 1. 3rd down and 9.
I'm still thinking of your comment about Shane Ham not managing the game.
No, I'll tell you what, all credit in the world to this young man for the way he's gotten it done this evening.
Now, in fairness, you know, he's in his 15th high school game, so for a lot of teams in the state, most of them, in fact, he's halfway through his sophomore year.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. Whistle. And some movement, perhaps.
Delay. Offense. Number 10. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
I jinxed him. He did get called. See, in this here, you don't see a lot of teams stay in the huddle anymore. Ham runs to the sideline every single time. He goes to get the play. So all the running he's doing on the field, then he's back and forth to the coach every single play on top of that. It's a good thing he's got freshman legs.
It is true. Those kids can run all day. You know?
Hand off. And to the 49-yard line. Again, just for a gain of a couple. And that's training once again. They're not worried about the yardage that they're getting right now. They're worried about the clock continuing to turn. It will be 4th down. They will have to kick it away, but there are under 5 minutes remaining here.
You're right. Look, the clock is their ally. They were able to just run a good 3-4 minutes on that drive. And if Winton Woods, you're looking at the clock, you've got 1 timeout left. They got to try and make something happen. And I'll tell you, if I'm Hoban, this kick is going directly out of bounds. I'm not even giving Beecham a shot.
Good call. There it goes. Out of bounds, and we'll start to walk it up the far sideline. Mayan Williams has been the workhorse tonight. Look at some of the carries that he's had for this Winton Woods team this evening.
He's showing an ability to bounce. Here's some breaking of tackles. This set up the touchdown to Beecham. And remember, what we're looking at is a player who was banged up, who didn't play in the second half last week. Look at the moves. Look at the moves. Remember, we're talking about Shane Ham from Hoban being a freshman. This is a sophomore. Mayan Williams.
And on cue, they give him the football and let him add to his totals a little bit here.
And based on the play call, I think Coach Parker is understanding also where this game's at.
173 yards on the ground tonight, 19 carries. See those offers from Kentucky and Toledo.
The stat that I liked out of that was 700.
Looks like interference right at the end of that. Go ahead.
709 yards rushing in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, that is virtually that for another running back, that'd be considered a good season. Right. This is just the playoff run. 700. That's impressive.
Nate Bauer doesn't agree with a pass interference call, but that's what he's being called for.
Defense, number 5, 15-yard penalty. First down.
And let me just say, Bob, they rarely do agree with the pass interference call.
Yeah, even when it is them, they don't know that.
Right. Wide receivers don't drop passes, and defensive backs don't interfere. Now, I might be on Bauer's side on that one.
Here's the pass to Beecham. He makes the catch. He's got the first down. Yeah, okay, so he was probably not saying I didn't touch him. He was saying that's an uncatchable football. That's way out of bounds, right?
Right.
Anyway, Beecham makes his catch.
Whatever he was saying, the beat goes on.
Yep. Flag here, movement prior to the snap is see Winton Woods go right to the line and try a hurry-up offense.
Dead ball, false start, offense, number 64, 5-yard penalty, first down.
So the ball's placed back at the 42-yard line now.
And we just saw them attempt to give the ball to Navarro Ganaway, who had one of the best catches I've seen all year last week against LaSalle for a touchdown. And they look to run a similar play.
Mayberry puts it up, and that is incomplete. The intended receiver on that play was Rashawn Brown.
Mayberry under pressure, and I don't know if you felt it or not, or he just released the ball high. Rashawn Brown almost goes up and gets this. But Mayberry's been high. He's missed high a few times tonight. Of course, he's been under heavy pressure. There's Reed Allen from one side, Bryce Thompson from the other. It has been relentless and suffocating, has this Hoban Knights defense. And take nothing away from Winton Woods. Winton Woods is a very, very good offense, and you see him only 71 passing yards.
And they're not going to get any more. The ball is on the ground. And Winton Woods recovers that fumble, and there's a guy you were talking about a few minutes ago, Maurice Chapman, making sure his team maintains possession.
And that's Davion Pete, who just beats him around the edge. Meet at the quarterback. There was another night there. Heads up play by Maurice Chapman to get on the football.
Third down at 22 now.
That's one guy who's going to play to the final whistle. And there's Deshaun Martin, Cincinnati commit.
pitch it to Beecham. He wants to throw, and he does, and it falls in between two defenders, incomplete.
Well, Matt Salopek from the safety position, he's up on the line. Look he reads it right away. Oh, I'm sorry, it's Reed Allen who hits him. Salopek was in the back field as well, but Reed Allen's the one right on Beecham.
So 4th down and 22.
Yeah, he says go for it. What do we have to lose at this point?
Play clock's down to 4. They're not going to get a play off here. So that'll be 4th down and 27 now.
Delay. Offense. Number 8. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
You know, as I look down at the Hoban sideline, it's always been interesting to me when you have a game like this where it's decided. And it may have been for the better part of this quarter. And then the clock hits 0, and then the kids celebrate. But it's, you know, it's not like a last second. You know, they know right now. But as high schoolers, you're not really allowed to celebrate. Now they're starting to celebrate a little more because they're going to be able to kneel this ball out for the most part.
Yeah, Winton Woods has 1 timeout left, but, you know, at this point, they're to the point that you got to get 4 touchdowns in 2 minutes and 37 seconds, and it's out of reach. And Hoban changing divisions this year, but the fortune stays the same for this team. They're going to win a state title. There's a handoff. And try to come around the right side and step out of bounds. Jacob Simmons is in a quarterback.
Yeah. Hands it off to Dickerson outside.
Well, now Ham comes back into the huddle. Yeah, let him play it out.
Look at Tyrell. Headset off. You know what happens when the head coach takes the headset off?
It's about to get a bath. Hand off to Dickerson, and he's tackled for a loss.
Usually it's not one that you ask for either.
You're going to get a bath, and you're going to have to take a bath because of it.
That's right. That's how that works.
3rd and 7 at the 43.
Now Hoban's bringing all types of guys in. Extra personnel.
And you see the hugs on the sidelines. As you said, they know it. And they are ready to celebrate it. 3rd down and 7. Ham turns and he hands it off. And they'll get down to the 38-yard line, a couple yards shy of the 1st down.
I anticipate they're going to go for it here.
They only need to get 2 yards. Dickerson taking the handoffs here. Coaches always try to remain cool right to the end, though, don't they? Game's not over, fellas. Yeah, right. Of course it is. They know it is. They're keeping that demeanor, though. Hand it off again, and they will get to the 35-yard line, and that's going to be a 1st down as Trainum gets it, and that will really just solidify what we already know tonight.
There's Matt Salopek saying we did it, and there's Coach Tyrell telling guys to back up.
Yeah. Not all the guys.
No. Hey, Nate Power, you come over here and give me a hug.
Absolutely.
You've earned a hug from me.
Victory formation for Hoban as they kneel on the football. Shane Ham, the freshman quarterback, came in with a quick strike offense here tonight, threw the ball extremely well. They got 6 touchdowns. They all came in the first half of this game. And that's all the points the Knights needed. They're about to win their 3rd straight state championship. As Ham kneels on it one more time, and that will do it. The celebration can officially begin for the Hoban Knights. They are the champions of Division II football in the state of Ohio.
Good victory for Hoban. This is a good opponent. Quinn Woods.
That's that. I'm proud of every single one of them. Proud of seeing all the coaches, community members. They all showed up. But, pretty to go 6-4. 13-2. That's a hell of a difference between it. So, shit. Well, thank y'all for watching.